Now, this is like the parable where Jesus said there was a father who had two sons, and he went to the eldest son and said to him, "Son, go do this." And he said, "I will not." Right. Then he went to the youngest son and said, "Son, go do this for me." And he said, "Okay, I will." But then he didn't, right? But then the eldest son repented and went and did it, right? Now, whom will the father think really did it? The eldest or the youngest? The youngest. He said he would. He said he would. But he also didn't, right? But the father don't know that, right? Not immediately, right? He went to both sons and asked them the same question. One said he wouldn't, one said he would, right? But then the other repented and actually did it, but the other one still didn't, right? So you got what's called a catch-22, right? So here's the situation. If you think someone hit you, all it takes to not hit you is a millimeter, right? That's a small measurement. If you're off at a distance and you think someone hit you, right, and they don't think they did, and they drove off, right, and you go out and look and you find some damage to your vehicle, but something's a little off, right, that also don't mean someone else couldn't hit you the previous day and ran off themselves, right? See? But, when you line it up to my vehicle, there was no damage there, right? You would see that yourself. You would say, "Well, I'm not sure I hit him, but I think I did, so I would just went on, right?" But if someone else hit you, they did the same thing, but you didn't know they hit you. You didn't realize it until I almost hit you. But I did still. It's called a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You can't prove you did, you can't prove you didn't, right? But the person who really did ain't gonna admit they did. Nor is he sure if he hit you or how he hit you. It don't look right. It don't fit, right? With the whole situation. Your car is slanted down. Mine is a box, right? It's kind of boxy, right? If a box hits the slant, what's going to happen to the slant? It's going to crush the whole thing, right? Down, right? Not a little part at the top, right? That's impossible. It also can't hit it in two different locations or one, right? More at the top than the bottom, right? Without causing more damage, right? It's impossible, right? That's forensics. See, the father could only ask and assume which son did it, and if he thinks the younger who said he would really did it and the job was done, right, he's going to think the younger son did it at first, right? And then the other son would have to protest, "But no, father, I did it," right? Too, wouldn't he? Ain't that human nature? I repented and did it. He's lying, right? He's taking credit, but no, he's not. The father heard each son. One said he wouldn't do it, one said he would. Then the other repented, but the other didn't do it really either, right? But now there's a possibility, right, that since the father gave praise to the younger son because he said he would do it but didn't, right, and then the elder son repented and did, that causes a bigger problem between the two sons, right? What now? The father found the job done, right? And the youngest son said he would do it, so he assumed that he did and went to praise him and thank him, right, for doing a good job, right? But he still didn't do it. The other son did, right? But the father didn't know that, right? He believed the one who said he would did it, right? But who created the situation in the first place? The eldest, by saying he wouldn't do it, right? And the youngest was trying to do his duty too and said he would, right? But then didn't. No. But then the two sons will be at enmity with one another. Because the eldest son would know he really did, and the youngest son would know he really didn't, but one's lying and taking the praise when he didn't deserve it, right? Right. That too is human nature. You understand? That's why the evidence must fit the crime. That's like with even OJ. If it don't fit, you must acquit. If they found a bloody glove at the scene, right, and his hand is too large, unless he had two pairs or something, right, and did something else with the other pair, and got blood on both pairs, right, right. There's a way to do that, of course. You got two pairs, one smaller, one larger. Right, one you actually use, and then you got the blood of both on both pairs, right? Uh-huh. And you left the smaller pair behind because you knew it wouldn't fit. They must have quit. Now, this don't prove OJ did it now, does it? No. But it's a suggestion, right? That does fit the crime, right? See, right? There were two pairs of gloves. You can buy two pairs, right? One that actually fits and one that don't, right? And you leave the one that don't behind and you take the one that does with you, but then you do get away with, do something with them, like burn them, right? Gloves burn, right? You remove the evidence that you were even at the scene, right? That's all you can do, right? Still don't prove you did or didn't do it, but it leaves reasonable doubt, don't it? Right. But that's thinking outside the box, right? Right. That's what I mean, right? So who still did it? The eldest. But when the father came and the youngest said he would do it, he would at first believe the youngest did it and would go thanking for doing a good job, probably, right? But then the eldest, he really did it, right? And then he would protest, but Father, I really did it, right? Like the two as well. Mm-hmm. When the one wanted his inheritance, which was also the youngest, right? And he got his money and went and squandered it all, right? Same thing. But it can also happen to a daughter, right? You understand? Just because Jesus focuses on the male, usually more problematic. Anyway. Men have more problems dealing with their freedom than women. Men have problems behaving themselves more so than women. Women are usually submissive, not the dominant, right? It's kind of in our nature too, right? She's the receiver, you're the giver, right? You're the provider, right? You're supposed to do this, and this for her, and she's supposed to do that, and that for you. And you're supposed to be a team, right? That's in a perfect relationship. But guess what? No relationship is perfect now. Nope, not since the fall. And that too could have been sexual. It could have been the youngest son again and the eldest son again, right? And the youngest son taught us the knowledge of good and evil, and the eldest son didn't. And you don't want to deal with that. And the eldest son knows he didn't do it, but the youngest son knows he did, but is denying it. So are the two who did it with him, because he also introduces them to a different kind of sex than the eldest son did. Simple as that. But you won't grasp it. You don't want to believe that. It came from there, right? But it did. Iniquity was found in the youngest son, not the eldest. Not the eldest too. So what happens there? The youngest son sowed tares among the wheat. The enemy, the one who is teaching us good and evil. And we became as him to know good and evil. with him. He did it with both Adam and Eve, right? He hid behind the tree. And they even think they found a reptilian-looking human, right? Or vice versa, right? They think recently they saw something like that. Well, the serpent in the garden again had legs and could walk upright. So could this thing, and that was a few years ago they found out about it, right? Someone was changing their tire and they saw it approaching them and they got the hell out of there, right? Because that was more towards when he was done, right? Plus, he had a weapon, and whatever was observing him knew, right? It couldn't approach him till he put the stuff away. But then when it approached him, he freaked out and got into the car and sped off, right? Whatever it was, though, it was over 6 feet tall to 7 feet tall. Now, if you have sex with this thing, though, and eating and it's supposed or something, right? Like I told you, right? It's still tempting you to do something good and evil, right? Hypothetically, there too, right? So, a hypothesis means you're reading the original story in the Bible, but you know there's things missing in the story that don't fit. All we know is we're in day 7 all of a sudden. See, because on day 7 the Lord rests. And on day 6 he made everything up to Adam and Eve, and then they again named the animals first, and then God makes Eve, right? Now, I told you once, how long, if everything made that was made was in Eden, right, would it take to name everything? Long time, more than 24 hours, right? You think? Right? And then you would have to rest yourself because, you don't know what the conditions were like there. But there again, if you can walk and not faint, it still could take a few days at least, say maybe 30 to 100, I don't know. Though in Eden, you're in the perfection of the garden, right? There's no thorn and thistles yet. There's no curse, right? I know. Though again, who's cursing you? The eldest son, right? It's telling you because you did this with the youngest, this will happen to you, right? It's still the same parable. I know it is. But you don't want to see it as applying to Satan, Adam and Eve, and Jesus, right? You were taught not to by someone. You were taught to deny it, whereas I see it and I know what it means, right? Don't mean I'm better than you or worse than you, but that you're letting the youngest son influence you. And 2, like the prodigal son, he has to repent and go back to the Father himself and truly repent before all can be undone, right? But until he does, he's taking credit, right? Where credit is not necessarily due him, right? So he's still lying to you, right? And the tribulation period can be up to 10,000 years. You don't know. See, even though we have signs, you'll always have a sign that God could return, or Jesus could return, or someone could return, right? You just don't know the actual day or the hour. And when you write something in the book, it shortens, though it's been 2,000 years, by the way, the actual fulfillment, and then you think it's being fulfilled when really it's not, right? That's a problem too, right? We all have. It appears like to you, Perry Stone, or to you, prophecy interpreters, that it's the end times, right? But wait a minute, 4,000 more years, might have to happen too before all's finally fulfilled, right? Plus, there's gaps. The 7 vials could be 500 to 1,000 to, right, before they're actually fulfilled in the earth, right? You don't know the real timeline. You don't know when someone writes it down in 95 AD or whenever it was, the actual timeline of the full fulfillment of the fullness of time, right? You're guessing, right? 2 Christians, and you're also causing false hopes. That's why Christ said, I was seeing you cold, don't say it anything, or hot, tell them everything, right? That means that too. If you're leaving something out, though, even the minorest thing that you don't understand yet, right? Like the prophet saying, a man shall cry as a woman in travail, right? That's androgyny, right? And Paul saying, I gave birth to you, right? To those who believe after him, right? Through him. He's doing androgyny, right? He's saying not only is he your father, he's also your mother, right? But so is he a father and a mother through his own mother and father, right? That's why Christ said, if you love father or mother more than me, you're not worthy of me. He's truly both. And so is Satan. But the thing is, you can't prove it, disprove it. You have theories here, theories there. And however it works out in the long run, right? That's the whole truth of it all, right? But then someone has to come back periodically, too, and leave proof they were here to their other incarnation, or reincarnation, whatever you want to call it, right? As many times as they come here, right? They have to leave proof they were here behind for those few faithful who believe them, right? And then the many may not believe them, but the few will. No. So that's the whole problem there, right? You have choices. You have right and wrong decisions you make every day, right? But it don't prove nothing. It don't say I hit her or not, right? And then you got to do what's called forensics. And from my vantage point, I saw no real damage that matches the damage to my car. We had to wait for someone to show up to take the accident report, and it took over an hour, and I can't leave if she don't leave, but she said I hit her. I gotta stay there too, right? And it still took over an hour for someone to finally show up, right? Maybe they're hoping she'll let it go too and leave. But some people are stubborn, right? They call stubbornness faith when it's not, right? You just think I hit you and I don't know I did or not. And of course, even if I think I did, I'm going to check my vehicle, make sure I didn't really hit you. But it's not going to be immediately. It's going to be when I get home or something, right? And then if I don't see no damage, I'm not going to think I hit you. But you still might think I did. Whatever the situation is, right? But someone could have really hit you and you just didn't notice it till it looked like you hit you. Do you understand? But you could still now do something about it. You got my insurance information, but I'm not. I'm forgiving it. Right? I can't do nothing about that. That's such a tiny ding. And if something else is wrong, I don't even see it. Did you? You can't cause a middle ding with a flat surface. No. No one can, unless you hammered it or something. And I was in the theater the whole time. A hammer can do that, but not hitting somebody's car. Especially with a slat rear. I didn't see any real damage. And I'm out there over an hour watching her, waiting on the police too, right? I'm sure she called them more than once while we're waiting for them. But man, we got things to do, and more important things to do. You're just in a little fender bender, right? And is there any real damage, right? Why don't you just go home, right? I don't know. I'm guessing, right? But it still took them a while to get someone out there, right? And am I driver 1 or driver 2? Is driver 1 at fault or driver 2? I don't remember, right? I don't know, right? I don't know. Who's the hitter or the hittee, right? Yeah, he can't see any damage to my vehicle either, right? And what's done to yours is so minor, it don't fit the accident scene, right? See, that's called forensic science. Neither one of us can beat forensic science, right? You may feel I hit you. You may have imagined it, right? So strongly, even I might have thought for a second I hit you. But no, I didn't. But no, you didn't. And whether it's a sister or a brother who has the same problem, there's also a firstborn sister and a secondborn sister. Who do you think is supposed to get whom there? Isn't the firstborn brother supposed to get the eldest sister if there's only two in the beginning? Right. And then the secondborn gets his wife, right? When the father and mother produce a daughter, right? Get it? So they're brother and sister, right? Because there's only one father and mother, right? To produce both, right? Two sons and two daughters, right? And they can also become one. And one is always one, but can become three. And one was one, right? But acts as if they're two, right? That wouldn't confuse you, right? One's double-minded, one's one-minded, one accord, right? And there we are. You still can't explain it. And I'm not going to report such a minor ding because it's more problems than it's worth, right? I don't know how they would even fix that, right? If I was to take it to the body shop, they'd say, well, it's more expensive to fix that than to do anything with it, right? And do you understand? Right? Because it is. It's a minor dent, right? On a bigger vehicle than yours that can't do a little bit of damage, right?